I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned that snow just doesn't go away. It lingers, and it makes me sad, and I'm sad because the snow won't go away. It's snowing again. Stupid snow.
I'm Tyler Hosley, and this week I learned that Florida can absolutely drop to the low 20s, and I fucking hate it. Florida's not supposed to be that cold, guys. It's not. I live in Florida for a reason. It's tropical, not cold.
Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and despite the fact that I could make the obvious jokes about Scotland being a colder climate anyway, and me being used to those things, I can't actually put anything into context because I will remind you that I generally have what I refer to as temperature blindness. Like if you say, Tyler, low 20s, I'm like, is that freezer levels? Is that giving you sunburn? I don't know. It's something. I used to have sort of all measurement blindness because I'm really bad with distances as well. But temperatures, honestly, if you give me a temperature as a number, I'm just like, okay, are you hot or are you cold? Or I know from the context you're feeling chilly in Florida, but would that seem chilly to me, or is that Florida chilly?
20s is pretty
No,
fucking cold.
that would be cold to you. That's below freezing.
Yes.
All right, okay, right, thank you.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's all I need. I need below freezing. Freezing, well, it's manageable. And in Scotland, I think we say taps off when it's so hot you can take your top off.
It's negative 6.5, I think.
Wow, in Florida?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, T. When you were complaining about it before, I was just like, oh, Tyler's feeling a breeze again.
No.
Like he's spoiled with that Florida sunshine. Oh, a light breeze, and Tyler's like, get me to an Eskimo hut to keep me.
If there was a light breeze, I'd go outside naked and just lay in it. This is fucking horrible.
I apologize for not taking it seriously at all. Anyway, other than that, this is Raiders of a Podcast. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! I watched some stuff this week, some good stuff. A mixed bag, but generally I have stuff to praise. Now, Craig isn't here, and that's a shame because I am still actually due to watch. He gave me Tales of Hoffman like quite a few years ago now, and it's another one of those titles that sat there, and I haven't sat down because I want to give it, the respect and kind of the sense of occasion that I feel it deserves. But I finally got around to watching The Red Shoes this week. I believe these are both Powell and Pressburger films. I don't think I'm talking out of my ass there. Anyway, The Red Shoes certainly is. And yes, it is from 1948. And everything that can be said about it has already been said. So I would just add my little teaspoon of praise onto it. It's a wonderful film. It's a visually gorgeous film. Moira Shearer is fantastic in the lead role. Bizarrely, guys, I mean, I'll put my monocle on here. The reason I finally got around to watch it is because I remembered that in a few months, Vicky and I are going to see the ballet on stage. I think it's Matthew Bourne again, who's done the Red Shoes. So we're looking forward to that. And I know it's like based on a classic tale, but I just thought, I wonder if it will incorporate anything that people, maybe just a reference to anything from the movie. So I wanted to really get that under my belt for that reason. But yes, it's fantastic. And I'm going to assume that Dave has seen that, but it might not be top of Tyler's list.
I have not seen that.
You haven't seen The Red Shoes?
I have not seen The Red Shoes, actually.
Oh.
It's got a Criterion, right?
Shit. Yeah, a very pretty Criterion.
Yeah, I have not seen that movie. It's been on my list for years. I just haven't watched it.
Funnily enough as well, and I know this probably sounds like really like spoil. But I wasn't sure if I'd future-proofed my collection again by getting that in 4K, and I didn't. I'm not sure if there's a UK 4K disc, but I had the Blu-ray, which was nice. So I watched it on Blue and did that. But it is it's not one I would assume everyone rushes to. If I remember it, it's about 2.5 hours, I think. Like it's quite a lengthy runtime, and it like you sort of feel the runtime, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it it takes time to set things up, and it takes time to showcase some great moments with the characters, and the actual heart of the film.
Hold on
It
now.
could what?
It's only 2 hours and 13 minutes.
All
Two and
right,
a
sorry.
half hours.
But still, it was I I was feeling it as a long film, but as I say, not in a bad way. Just they take the time to move around this world of sort of dance and people wanting into ballet and the characters that are there. And like I can imagine people could come at this material and do it in a much briefer and much more brisk way, and it just wouldn't be as satisfying. It wouldn't be as good. This is this is something that you want it to take its time and breathe, and then you still feel that kind of uh, frantic, almost insane atmosphere when it gets to the sort of the red shoes moments themselves. It's just it's really good. I'm not saying anything people haven't been saying for the last like 50 years. I watched what has been known to many as that gay biker S&M movie Pillion, and it's really good. Now, apologies for my forgetfulness. Did either of you see this yet? I can't recall, because this has enough penis
I
content to keep
just
Tyler
saw
happy.
it because you gushed for it.
I have
That's all.
not.
Right. Okay.
I was going to surprise you with I saw that too, but
Oh,
yeah,
thanks. Well,
I saw that too.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I mean, I'll get it out of the way now. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm never gonna look at the biker leather zip up suit the same again, but that's me.
Yeah. 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 I mean, we've discussed films that have explored BDSM and the subdom relationship before. And we've discussed films that have done that badly and films that have done that well. And I think with Pillion, it's actually, it's not a great setup. It's not the healthiest thing, but that's part of the story. It really works out well in terms of the journey. Skarsgård is brilliant in his role. Alexander Skarsgård is I keep forgetting if it's Harry Melling or Henry Melling. I always forget. I think it's Harry Melling. He's great as the Colin, who has what's it he says in the film, an affinity for devotion. So he's wonderful, and I think the the thing about how it's being labelled and discussed is that is not an inaccurate description, but that may put off people who, if they gave it their time and attention, would realize that it actually says a lot really about any relationship. I mean, there is this saying, isn't there, about I've mentioned it here before. It's to do with you know, something specific being quite universal. Whereas sometimes the more specific you are, the more universal it is. And although Pillion sort of dives into this, let's say kink scene, it is at heart about a relationship and about someone finding out really what they want from a relationship and what they're willing to do and what makes them happy. And yeah, I really enjoy it for that. And like it has a couple really sweet, lovely moments in between the rest of the stuff that will be, popping up in more conversations. So a big fan of that. Vicky really liked it as well. We both compared it. It was the better film using this kind of relationship than Baby Girl. Now I didn't mind Baby Girl, but I didn't love it, and Vicky hated that one. I think Pillion is a much better use of those sort of dynamics for the kind of tale that it's telling. Now, you know me, and I'll watch a bit of streaming nonsense. So yes, I did watch The Wrecking Crew. It's an action comedy with Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa. They are estranged brothers, and when their father dies, they end up working to track down his killer. And they're in Hawaii. Things blow up. People are mashed, and general shenanigans unfold. It's all right. The Wrecking Crew. It's most enjoyable when it's being really like unsophisticated and happy to feel like any kind of buddy action movie of the last 30 or 40 years. Unfortunately, there are times where it tries to take things like too big. It's almost like it needs to throw some more spectacle around, use some, computer tidying tricks to get all the stunts that little bit sort of better and more extreme, and that doesn't really matter. There's also a really strange kind of old boy homage. There's one or two moments that you feel like could have been a good punchline if there'd been a decent setup, so they don't work. It's best when either Momoa or Batista are punching people in the face, and that's kind of all you need. The occasional wisecrack, have them punching people in the face, have them punch each other in the face sometimes. That happens. They don't get on. That's fine. It's all right though. It's more enjoyable than some of the many straight to streaming efforts I've seen lately. And the director, I'm going to mispronounce his name. I think it's Angel Manuel Soto. He did the Blue Beetle movie, which was kind of fun and funky. So I tend to enjoy his work. And last but not least, and I'm still trying to figure out what I just watched because it was Chinese Ghost Story. 3 of them are on Shudder now, and I had a good time. Dave, you'll need to keep me right here with your educated ways. Why am I thinking that in China you weren't allowed to show ghosts in film? Or is it someone, or is it demons, or is there something? I thought there was something in Chinese cinema where you couldn't show certain elements in films.
Yeah, ghosts are the way Chinese people culturally look at ghosts. It's a little iffy. Anything that the Chinese Film Administration finds propagating cults or superstition isn't allowed also. Plus, the Chinese view on ghosts is different than ours. I believe the Pirates of the Caribbean movies were denied release because of it. Ghostbusters has been more than once. So it's a little bit more complicated than that. I mean, they do sometimes still pop up.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously this is quite full on. Yeah. The series is a Chinese ghost story movie series, and I was like, wait, I thought they didn't really allow this kind of thing in film, but obviously there are ways to do it, or certain ways around it. I can't remember any of the the tricks, but it was a good blend of elements. And as I say, I'm still mulling over what I just watched. I thought I'd watched this before, but I clearly haven't, because I would have remembered at least some of it. I think it's one of those films that has been in clips over the years when you're celebrating different forms of horror that came from different parts of the world. And that is me.
Well, I watched The Strangers Chapter 2, aka Halloween 2's Wild Boar Revenant. It's all right. I didn't hate it. I thought the hospital stuff was actually pretty well done. The redhead from Riverdale is actually, she's okay in the lead role. I don't really have a problem with her. I mean, she's adorable, but I don't really have a problem with her as a lead. I think she's fine. She was good in Riverdale too, for what I've seen of it. But I don't know. It's a lot better than Chapter 1. At least it's doing its own thing now. So I mean, I would say check it out even if you hated Chapter 1, because it does try to do its own thing, but you probably won't like it anyway. So yeah, it's fine. I'll go see Chapter 3 when it comes out, which is I think this weekend. But I will go see it just because I thought Chapter 2 was fine. And because the new Wuthering Heights is coming out, I decided to watch one adaptation a week. The ones I just because just to gear up for it. I haven't seen one in years. So of course, I started with the 2003 MTV produced rock musical version of the movie. Um, that stars Mike Vogel and Erica Christensen. So if you want to see the lead from Grind and the lead from Swim Fan sing, then you are in for a fucking treat. It's very 2003, which is probably the reason why I like it so much. But yeah, I kind of love this version. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the first version of the story that I actually saw. Um, it's probably the worst adaptation of the story, but I like the movie. It's just a teen drama with a lot of singing that kind of takes bits from the story. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I liked it. So, and that's me.
Okay. So I saw a lot of weird things this week, and I'm not going to talk about a lot of them, because I've been playing around with streaming services from other countries that I have access to because, internet ways. But I'm not going to talk about those because a lot of them are weird, and I don't know how to describe them, and nobody else is ever going to watch them. So I'll talk about the ones that you can watch that I saw. I saw the 1933 Marx Brothers pre-code musical comedy Duck Soup. I adore it, and someday I might force Tyler to watch it, but that day is not today. I I saw The Demon Detective, which is a recent. It's kind of like somebody watched Constantine a few times and went, I can do that, and then they did that, and it's not good, but it didn't like cause me pain. It was just dumb, and it wastes the cast. Somehow they got well, I mean, you get Vivica A. Fox to show up by saying, "Hey, can you please show up?" So she did, and Adrienne Barbeau shows up, and they got her to show up the same way, and Doug Jones shows up, and I adore Doug Jones, and they got him to show up the same way, but they're all kind of wasted, and the lead is really bad, and the super, me, one thing I love more than almost anything on this earth is a good supernatural fight, and the supernatural fights in this sucked. I love when two guys just kind of stare at each other making faces, fighting with their minds. But you got to make it fun and interesting, and this didn't. Like, I guess if you're really hard pressed and you're doing like a October horror challenge, and you go, I haven't seen this. You could do worse. You can do much better too, though. You can do better. Just watch something else. You can do better. I saw the 1987 American low-budget action film written and directed by Andy Sedaris, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which is a deeply loved cult movie that I've never seen. Pace Magazine once called it the best B movie of all time, and they lied. I don't have fun with it. There's bits I think are fun, like in a vacuum. Like the snake, I think is amazing, and the guy, firing a missile launcher at everything. I think like there's bits that are great, but I think as a whole it's not fun and it's not good and it's not actiony or smutty enough to bother with. I don't understand why this one has been so embraced. I just don't. I've seen other Andy Sedaris stuff that I prefer because Hard Ticket to Hawaii isn't it doesn't have it doesn't go for it like a lot of his other movies do. Fun fact though, Andy Sedaris choreographed the football scene in the 1970 MASH feature by Robert Altman. I know it was Robert Altman. I don't know why the fuck I said that because of the TV show. Anyway, and I ended my week with the 2019 Japanese film adaptation of the manga series Kaguya-sama: Love is War, and that is absolutely adorable and hilarious and like pitch perfect. But it's one of those ones where when you see it, you need to know what the base is, or else it is not going to work for you because they speed run through like the first so many chapters in double time. So if you know what it is, you're going to enjoy it. If you don't, you're going to go, what the fuck am I watching? Why? So, if you've seen it, and you should watch the anime if you're not going to watch the movie, because the anime is an absolute blast. And that was me for this week. Besides Pilion, but I already mentioned that, so why would I say it again, right? This week, we watched the 1988 American road comedy drama directed by Barry Levinson, Rain Man, and the 2025 American action fantasy film written, produced, and directed by Bryan Fuller, Dust Bunny. Hey, Tyler?
Yes.
Would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
I would. I am going to go with your pick, Dave, Dust Bunny, which is about an 8-year-old girl who asks her scheming neighbor for help in killing the monster under her bed that ate her family. So I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, guys. I've always liked Bryan Fuller's TV stuff. Hannibal is fucking amazing. Dead Like Me, Pushing Daisies, American Gods. He did American Gods, right? Or like at least
He
co-produced
did.
that.
He did the first season before they fired him to make it more like the book.
Yeah, I loved American Gods. But yeah, all those are great. I'll forgive him for that awful Munsters thing he did. But so Dust Bunny fucking rules though. Like this is the kind of quirky I can vibe with. I mean that it's got that Juno Caro style quirk that kind of walks this thin line of being like an adult fantasy horror, but at the same time, it almost plays out like a childhood fairy tale. It always teeters that edge of family friendly, and I feel like those two tones should clash, but Fuller really makes this thing work. Mads Mikkelsen is fantastic. I mean, he's always great. Dude is just fucking magnetic in everything, and he's just great here. I loved him in this movie. The little actress that plays Aurora is really good. One of the best kid performances I've seen in a while. She's really good in this. Her and Mads Mikkelsen just play so well off each other. Really good. Two really good performances. It's a true genre bender of a film too. I mean, it's R-rated, which is fucking ridiculous. I've seen more violent PG-13 movies than this movie. Why they gave us an R rating is just mind-blowing. But it still feels like the perfect modern gateway horror for kids. It's violent but not bloody. It's super fun, and it's a shame the studio obviously had no faith in this at all, because I would have loved to seen this in a theater. It was playing like nowhere near me, and I get everything in my city. Just I get everything. This was playing in not a single theater, which is just like it's a shame. But yeah, I had a blast with this one, Dave. Like I'm super glad I finally watched it. So yeah, thanks for picking this one.
Yay!
I am going to start by saying, so that the general reaction to this will be positive, but there is an element that I want to discuss at some point. I'll try and give a spoiler warning. So for anyone listening, spoiler warning, but I know Dave likes film anyway, so we would all recommend seeing the film. Now, if you've seen the film, you'll know how much fun the film is, and I agree with Tyler. It's definitely got that I definitely got a uni vibe from it. I was wondering, you know, whether or not that worked for you, T, and it has. Um, it's it's a really nice blend of kind of dingy, just yeah, like dour browns and greens, but also the undercurrent of a child's uh, vision or imagination. You're waiting to find out how things play out, and it works really well. What I will say is, I am not surprised though that this didn't really find an audience because apart from like us, I it is hard to think of who it would sort of be best aimed at, just in terms of the sheer practicality of marketing a movie, selling it, getting it in front of the right eyeballs. Um,
That's
I
such a
don't
cop out,
know.
and it didn't even get a fucking chance. No, that
Well,
marketing is crap. That is a bullshit cop out because they always say that, and then shit breaks that record all the time, all the time. That's just corporate nonsense to me. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. I'm calling that out. I don't think that's a fair criticism at all.
I think it has because I'm going to get spoilery here, so people like avoid this conversation until we see it because we all recommend you see it. I think the childish sort of fanciful nature of things is is fun and it's interesting, and I was surprised, pleasantly surprised, that it becomes a real thing in the third act, and then you do have that is quite the sort of jarring juxtaposition, though. I think in terms of who would best enjoy it, because yes, there's a reality there, and then that like changes the sort of perceived reality of everything that's been before it, and puts our people in real danger. I think it is still done in a fun way, and light, but it takes away it takes away a certain playfulness because it's like, no, this is real. This is what's happening. Whereas I think maybe I think it might have worked better in terms of viewers who might go for it if there was that playfulness from start to finish. But then you might not have had as satisfying an ending. It would have changed the whole thing. I'm not offering like any sort of how to remake this film. I think it's great. I just think it was hampered by the fact that it has that playfulness and then the reality kind of crashes in. But it's still handled in a way that isn't dwelling on gore or death or blood and guts. There are just things that happen. So I just as I was watching it, all that's all I can say is I did think who else would who else would go to pick this? Like I knew that you liked it, Dave, but even then I still didn't rush to see it. And again, I've not listened to your conversation yet on Watch Skip Plus because I didn't want it to affect our conversation in case I would tread on your toes or anything. So I will listen to that after we've all chatted about it. But like you say, it is just like it's a quality film with a great cast. It's just like really well done. Mads Mikkelsen, I tend to like in everything, so he's really good in this. He's actually like really quite. Um, it's Mads Mikkelsen has a good way of conveying like a sense of humor without ever seeming like a very funny person. Do you know what I mean? Like we all know if we got a chance to hang out with Mads Mikkelsen, it would be an amazing evening and he'd be brilliant company. But the characters he plays, they don't often, look like they're going to be a laugh a minute or just like a big bag of fun. But he can also just like it's a little just the little looks he gives, or just not literally, but a kind of shrug and going along with things, especially when he's with the main character here, the little girl, she's brilliantly played by Sophie Sloane. I think they're quite a great pairing. Fantastic, really. I love the supporting role for Sigourney Weaver. I thought it was a great role that she really enjoyed, kind of just chewing into. Sheila Atom was really good in her role, and David Dastmalchian popped up, as he seems to do in so many of the sort of modern kind of cult movies of recent years. So he was good as well. This is, it's really good. I don't think I would have found myself rushing to it though, if not for being pushed and prodded by you, Dave. So I'm glad you did. I don't know how many people will get convinced, if there'll be enough people for you to get your extended Dust Bunny cinematic universe.
I won't, and that's just a tragedy.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good to have these gems that are one-off, and the people who do find them hold them dear to their hearts, and they know that everyone else that isn't giving it time is missing out.
Okay, so I'm going to spoil my Watch Skip Plus discussion for Kevin right now. Dust Bunny was my favorite movie last year, my favorite new film that I saw. To be fair, I didn't see Pony Boy until last week, because then it would have been tied for my favorite film last year. I adored this movie. Let me get the my two little quibbles out of the way. I like David Dastmalchian in it. He's fine, but every time I've seen it, I've thought that should have been Lee Pace, because it would have been better if it was Lee Pace, and I know it, and you know it, and you guys both know it.
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it should have been Lee Pace. And the Dust Bunny, they made a giant 9-foot puppet, and it is gorgeous and amazing. And then they proceeded to put CG filters on it, and I think they went a little too far, to the point that it just doesn't look as real as I think it should. It's a little too CG looking in the end, instead of.
I was wondering if that was an actual puppet, because it did look super CG, but then it kind of looked like a puppet at times. So I was like, is it a puppet? But I couldn't tell.
I just put a picture of it on set with the kid and Bryan Fuller in the chat that we are recording on right now. If you click the little speech bubble, you'll see it. Yeah, I love the puppet, but they go too far. They put a little bit too much on it. And I understand why you do it. You'd use some CG to enhance it, but then they put too much on, so it looks all CG, and it's a shame, because it's a hell of a puppet. I love Mads Mikkelsen in it. The girl is fantastic. Sigourney Weaver is just amazing. Sophie Sloane is the little girl, as Kevin said. She's really, really good. Sigourney Weaver is wonderful. Like, she's always wonderful, but she and Mads Mikkelsen work so well together in their scenes. They just immediately sit down, and it's like two professional. I mean, they are professionals, duh. But they sit down and they just go into a really a vibe that fits this pair's relationship immediately, and they just slip into it, and their scenes together are great. Just a lot of fun. Yeah, I adore it. I think visually it is very much like early Junet, back when he was with Carol. Do you like that? Do you like that? You see, my French accent's just as bad as my Scottish. But it's not like disgustingly twee. At the end, there's a point and a premise, and it is about accepting yourself and the parts of yourself you don't like that manifest, and dealing with your bad situations, what you have to do to survive. I really love this film. I adore it, and I really wish more folks would see it. And unlike T, I actually I rewatched Mockingbird Way and Lane, and I kind of like Mockingbird Lane. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's an interesting take, and I wish they'd had a little bit more time to simmer and cook the idea. I think it could have turned out better.
I haven't seen it since it aired, but I remember being like super disappointed because it wasn't the Munsters. So I mean, that
Yeah.
maybe going in now, I'd probably like it better. But I haven't seen it since whatever date that was. What,
Yeah,
2011, something like that.
it's been a long time. Yeah, I love Dust Bunny. I'm a big Bryan Fuller fan. It's a shame that he doesn't seem to be able to ever get his ducks in a row for a good pushed release. But I hope he gets another crack at a feature, because this is a good one. This is a really good one that I think everybody should go see. And I think that the rating is a big fuck you from the MPA, because there's no reason for this movie to be R. PG-13 maybe. PG maybe.
R, it's
The
12A over here.
Yeah, it's R here. It's it's an absolute bullshit R rating. And when you look at when you look at the website, it says some violence. But it's like, it's well within the rules. I have seen much more violent PG films, so it's a big fuck you is what it is. That's what that rating is. And whoever rated that should be fired, because they're an asshole who can't do their fucking job. That's all. But you should see it. You should go see it. It's really good. Looks great. Cast is great. The script has some fantastic lines, and if Craig was here, he would spend the next 20 minutes quoting them. I am not going to do that. Or am I? I'm not. Well, actually, maybe one. I love the grown-ups don't pretend. Grown-ups pretend to be afraid all the time. That's mostly true. It's just a good line, well delivered. A lot of classics in it. I'll tell you I told you so now, so when it eats you, you will know I already told you so. I wish I could say that about a win this week, but I'm not going to get it, because Kevin picked Rain Man, the 1988 American road comedy drama directed by Barry Levinson, written by Barry Morrow and Ronald Bass, starring Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. It is about Charlie Babbitt, a jackass who's trying to get his hands on his recently dead estranged father's multi-million-dollar estate, which has actually been left in trust to the care of his brother Raymond, an autistic savant whose existence Charlie was unaware of. I do not like Rain Man. I have never liked Rain Man. Okay. As a piece of culture, I give Rain Man credit. It came out at the right time for the audience that needed something like this. The DSM, was it the 3 or the DSM DS, the physician book, right? Had just expanded the definition of autism. DSM-III, that's it. The DSM-III. I knew I'd think of it. Version 3R and 4 are where the definition of autism really expanded and became broader. And this film came out the year after that happened. So right when autism diagnoses started to increase, here was this movie. It might only have been a few months. Like, it was really close. That humanized a condition that many folks were not. Maybe condition isn't the right word. I'm sorry if that's not right. a thing that people were going to become more aware of very shortly. The problem, though, is its portrayal of autism and savant skills are just the stereotypes. They don't give either of our characters really much of a character except the stereotype. So I'm not going to hold it against the movie that they just do it to Raymond. They do it to Charlie also. There is like 25 excellent minutes in Rain Man. The problem is it's surrounded by an hour and 40 of just filler. Of Tom Cruise playing a generic 80s asshole, being a generic 80s asshole with the dumbest fucking plan he could ever possibly think up, and going with it while Dustin Hoffman does the most give me my fucking award, look at me doing this character role. And it's a shame. I think if we talk about it culturally, I think there's a lot going on for it. If we talk about it as an individual piece of media, I think it's deeply, deeply lacking. There's no real arc for either of them. Charlie's turn comes on a dime because he has to. The ending is a little too optimistic for me. It should definitely end with Charlie locked up for many, many years for what he does. It also leans into the misconception that card counting is illegal. It's not. Count your fucking cards and tell the casino to go fuck themselves. They'll kick you out and they might, smack you around a little, but you won that money fair and fucking square. And they'll have to pry it from your cold, dead fucking hands because card counting is not illegal in the United States. I just don't care for it overall. I think it is a very calculated, smooth Hollywood product that fails as an emotional piece of media. Again, they thought it out, like they saw this coming, and I give the producers and screenwriters credit for that. There were a lot of hands that worked on it before director Barry Levinson got involved. In production, Martin Brest worked on it. Spielberg spent a lot of time working on it before he had to back out to do Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Sidney Pollack worked on it for a while too. I mean, there was a lot of really, really talented people involved at a lot of stages, and I think what they turned in is fine for what it is. I just don't think it works today, and I don't think it's as deserving as it of the credit and praises it has been. It's a movie about two caricatures on a caricature trip, doing caricature stuff that has just enough emotionally manipulative scenes sprinkled throughout, which are well acted. Cruise, this is one of Tom Cruise's best roles, without a doubt. He brings it, and when he has to do the emotional stuff, he does some of his best acting ever on film. He's really good in it, but I don't think it works overall. That's just me. I know they disagree, so I'm gonna let them have it.
It's really hard to make movies centered around disabled people on all spectrums. Like I totally get that. Sometimes you get movies like I Am Sam or The Other Sister, which are about two totally different disabilities. I know, but some of those movies can be like borderline parody levels. Um, Rain Man is about a neuro development disorder rather than a mental illness. But either way, it's always a tricky subject. But I think Hoffman is actually really fucking good here. Like Hoffman is another actor who I always think is great. Like from Midnight Cowboy onwards, I think he's always really good, even in like comedies like the Fockers movies. I think he's the best thing about those. He's really good in these. But I also love The Fanatic and Travolta's performance in that. So take my praise with a grain of salt, I guess. But I think Hoffman plays it incredibly well here. I agree with Dave. Tom Cruise is really good. I mean, sure, he's a questionable human in real life, but I really like Cruise as a performer, and I think he's fantastic in this. I mean, his character's a dick, but he's playing that well, and that's how he's written. So he's good in this. It's well directed by Levinson. I think the script is good. It's a classic. Like this won Best Picture, right? Like this was the Best Picture of '88. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I can name.
Yeah, it was. It got Best Picture, Best Director. I
I think
don't remember if
Hoffman
it
won
got.
his Oscar for it, didn't he?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Hoffman won an Oscar. I don't remember if it got Best Screenplay. It won like a fistful of awards.
Personally, it wouldn't be my Best Picture of '88. I can name like 5 movies right now that I like better than Rain Man, The Accused, Dead Ringers, Frantic, Colors, Die Hard. But it's a solid movie. I just don't really have like a ton to say about it because it's one of those classics where like it's probably been talked about to death, and it's good. I like it. Just everyone knows that classic like escalator scene too. I mean that they even copied that shit in the fucking Hangover. So yeah, it's a good movie with good performances. I've always really enjoyed it. I hadn't seen it in years, and I honestly I thought it held up pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, I picked this for well, I picked Rain Man because, as I said before we started recording, it is a film that I realise whenever I rewatched it, it's a film that lives better in the memory than in the watching of it. But I had a very specific reason for picking it for the show, and that was to do with the conversation about the context of it, the culture, and knowledge has changed about autism, particular. I remember when this came out. Like, I'm not meaning this to sound like funny or anything. I I thought this was a representation of autism because I didn't know anything about autism. Didn't know anything about like any of uh, the spectrum that we're now aware of, the neurodivergence, the Asperger's syndrome, different forms that it can take. So this was a big deal. Hoffman was getting interviewed about his research. They were showing people that could, see a building once in their life and then draw you perfect recreations on stuff. I just thought, that's what it was. It was something that made someone socially awkward, but they had some, you know, individual, unique talent. That that was it. They had that one specific like superpower, but the rest of them was just unable to always interact as well with people or be sociable. And I think a lot of people would be in the same boat. And what I'm wondering is, and I value your guys' opinion on this, and you'll have a different opinion from over your way. Do you think this was worthwhile in terms of at least bringing a conversation about when it came to autism? Were you guys in the same boat in that you weren't as aware of it beforehand anyway?
No,
And was this
I
better than
wasn't.
nothing?
I was aware of it. My aunt, when I was a kid, did a lot of work with a group home for adults with various neurological and other developmental and stuff. She was guardian to several people with Down syndrome that would come by in my youth, and one or two higher functioning autistic people. So these were folks that were always in my life, groups that were always in my life. So this wasn't like oh, what the is that to me?
So did you watch this and immediately think, well, that's a lot of shit? Or did you
Yeah,
think,
and
well, some
you got
people
to remember,
will
I
learn a
was
bit
I
from
was I
this?
was like 8 when I first saw this, and I thought, wow, that's a load of shit.
Right.
And there are some people like that. Don't get me wrong, but it's like the smallest percentage of the smallest percentage of the smallest percentage. And like again, I respect them making it and bringing awareness to it, but I kind of wish they'd chosen something less movie friendly.
Yeah, like the more time has passed and the more we learn and the more knowledge we accumulate and we can find out things easier, like the worse this looks. And the worse it is. See how bad it is. And it's just like it's really bad. So I wondered if at the time it was maybe good for a conversation starter for something better than nothing, but it is like it's really bad, and there may be a hangover from this. No pun intended. I wasn't on about your reference, Steve, in terms of what some people might still think of when they think of autism, or if they think of other neurodivergent sort of you know uh, ways of acting across the spectrum, if their only exposure is sadly limited to Rain Man. So that was part of it. The other part of it is I argued for a long time that Rain Man was worth seeing for a really good lead performance, but that lead performance that is worthwhile is Tom Cruise's performance as opposed to Hoffman's. And this rewatch has only reaffirmed that opinion. So I think Cruise is great. I think personally, I think this was like the riskier turn for him than Hoffman just like playing to the crowd essentially. This is Cruise for me taking his sort of his you know leading man grin and his good looks and having moments where he's a shark going about in his douchebag clothes, figure out how to keep making money, how he can twist the situation, how he can use the situation. I really like the end of this actually, and I forget how much I do because of Cruz, because of his character's eventual realizations and slight maturity. It's not a complete change, but he does realize enough when other people are kind of confronting him with how he has been with his brother. I really like it. I think it's great. I think his performance is great. It's for some scenes, it's one of his least likable characters, and it was at a time where he was generally still playing the sort of the heroes and the cocky young thing who was out to win this. I mean, he did Rayman, then he did Born on the 4th of July. I think Born on the 4th of July is a lesser film and a far less convincing performance, personally. But Rayman stands up. I think it's great. You also get a really nice little turn for Valerie Giolino here. She's really good. I think Levinson directs capably enough here. It is all by the numbers, kind of blockbuster manipulative cheese. And I'll be honest, I'm sorry, guys. I do always, in my mind, hear Barry Levinson, but filter it through to the part of the brain that says Barry Sonnenfeld. So I've confused him many times. I just mix up my Barrys sometimes. And Levinson is he's done some good stuff, but he's not the he's not the absolute powerhouse that some other directors might be. And I think maybe someone else could have done better with this, but would have probably needed quite a bit of an overhaul with the script as well. There are good moments here. Almost none of them have Hoffman in them. I I do like the scene with him and Angelino in the lift, and sort of having that moment alone. I think it's done in quite a way that's sweet rather than being too creepy and disturbing. And it works, but only just. The rest is not good. Yeah, I'm glad we got through that without Dave going off on any tangent about Cruz being an owner of many slaves and just,
Tom Cruise owns slaves. I mean, I've said that. The people
Dave,
know.
Just try to get through to the end.
You're the one that brought it up. I was gonna let it go. I was gonna give you a gift. That was my Christmas gift to you. I was like, he'll make me watch a Tom Cruise movie at some point this year. My gift is to not mention Tom Cruise has slaves until you did. So Tom Cruise owns slaves.
I said, please don't title the episode that. We will get in legal trouble. So.
No, but when he dies and we do the obligatory 4 Tom Cruise movie episodes, it sure as fuck is going to be called Tom Cruise Owns Slaves. You just should make your peace with that now. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's me. All done.
Yeah, I know. I was just. It's that time. It's time to pick one. And I've already said I'm going with Dust Bunny, but I'm going to repeat it. I'm going with Dust Bunny. You should go see Dust Bunny.
I am also going to go with Dust Bunny because I think it deserves more attention. Raymond is a classic; it's good, but I want people to watch Dust Bunny, so go watch Dust Bunny.
Tyler is my favorite. You're a beautiful man, T.
Oh, as I said, I picked Raymond for the conversation about where it was placed, sort of culturally and in the context of the conversation that is now much better, I think, regarding autism and neurodivergence, and I got to praise Tom Cruise for his performance, but the better film is Dust Bunny. So yes, I will vote for Dust Bunny.
I did not expect that. Kevin is also one of my favorites.
Sweet.
So is Tyler. I'm like a loving, gushing papa right now. I can't pick one. Y'all are great. Next week, since Craig isn't here, it means he doesn't get to pick. I'm sorry, Craig. And the random number generator gave his pick to Kevin. So, Kevin, will you share with us your pick?
Yes, I think it's been too long since we've enjoyed the cinema of Michael J. Murphy. So we're going back to that well for 1989's Moonchild.
All right, so I'll start with next week. So for next week, we are watching Gregor Rocky's 1999 romantic comedy Splendor. And for the special, the sex work special, we are watching House of Pleasures, or sometimes known as House of Tolerance. But my DVD says House of Pleasure, so that's what I'm going with.
Kevin?
Yes.
So, explain this to me. You pick with Tyler and it's Moonchild. When you pick with me, it's Rain Man, Amadeus.
Rain Man didn't win.
It didn't. But you were trying to. You were going for the fucking legs, man. You were sweeping the legs.
Honestly, I was aiming for the conversation.
Son of a bitch.
I didn't even know if Tyler would like Rain Man that much. I didn't.
All right. Well, then I feel better. Then I feel better because I thought you were plotting again. I thought you were plotting. I was like, damn, dude.
I mean, I almost picked something. I was like, shall I go classic again? It's nice to have that chance to have an extra bit of class. But, the Michael J. Murphy set has sat there untouched for too long. And that's a kind of treat for you. You dug the last one we watched.
Oh, yeah, I like Michael J. Murphy's.
Yeah.
But I thought Moonchild was someone else, but okay.
There are a few films with that title there is,
Yeah.
as I say, the 1989 one, I believe it's 1989, is Michael J. Murphy, and I will make sure it is available for you all.
Lovely. Hey, T,
Yes.
can you celebrate my win by giving everybody the business?
We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment and watch Kevin's awesome videos. We have a Discord, we have a Blue Sky, and you can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
Beautiful. As always, thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.